So my name is Jonathan. I'm originally from Paris, and I went to Asia in 2005, first in Beijing in China. The idea was just to spend a year in China and come back to France. My parents wanted me to become a diplomat, but once I arrived in China, I was still very young. Life was much more exciting than back in France, obviously. So I've decided to change my plans, and I've stayed longer in China. So I stayed 1 more year in China, and then I got a job offer in Korea. So I moved to Seoul, where I spent almost 4 years, and I had my first entrepreneurial venture in Seoul. So I started with 3 partners in an event company, and after Korea, it's a nice country, but after a while, usually foreigners are going to either really like it or start to really dislike it. And I was more on the second path. I mean, I've learned the language, I spoke Korean, I had my network there, life was very comfortable, but at the same time I was like, I'm starting to get a bit bored and not very happy there. So I wanted to move back to Shanghai, and then a business school approached me, and I went through the interviews, several interviews, and I've got a job offer to lead the business development of HEART, instrumental school in APAC. And then I moved to Hong Kong, where I spent 2 years. And from then I jumped into business education, which is the industry I'm in today, and I'm passionate about, and that I want to improve, not change, but improve.
So tell us something about your company.
So when I was with HEART for business school, I've realized that student recruitment was extremely inefficient. So schools spend a lot of money to try to find the right students. Students are very confused of which school would be best for them. And the industry is simply antiquated and extremely fragmented. So business schools are still going to go to fairs, physical fairs where they need to fly people to Manila and attend a fair for a few hours with hundreds of people, but they don't know the quality of those leads. They have to rely on agents that are often unethical because they get paid sometimes for commissions. And internet hasn't been leveraged. So when I was with her, I was like, there's got to be a way to make it more efficient. And I had this idea then 3 years ago, but I wanted to validate it on an offline basis first. So I went over for a prep center, which is usually the first step for people when they start to think MBA. And for 2 years I interacted with hundreds of applicants, and I've started to test the model of shortlisting candidates to specific business schools and to only let those candidates in touch with the business school. And it worked perfectly. So last year, we've decided to basically make it online. And that's how Cut It By born. It was we have the business idea, it's been validated, we have the schools already on board, so let's make it happen on a more global scale, which is the internet. Thank you. Well, it's not done yet. I mean, it's the early stage still, but it's doing pretty good. A new team has been assembled recently, and again, it's something we're really passionate about. And the way we see it, Cut It By has to become, almost like a career management tool, in the sense that as a user, you will come in and put your inputs, which is, who you are today, and then you will put your output, which is what do I want to become next? Because education, if you think carefully, it's all about career. It's all about professional project. So what we do is, at the moment, only using MBA to tell you which MBA will be best for you. But on the longer run, the idea is to basically offer you with the best path to achieve what you would like to achieve in terms of career. It could be a job change first. It could be an MBA. It could be a master's. Or it could be online education. Or it could even be, coaches. So that's the whole idea of Cut It By, is to become a career management tool for individuals where education is central.
I wish we had this when I was younger.
Well, you can still use it in the future, because that's the idea. It's even if you're 40 years old, there are so many resources online that could help you to even maybe just become better at what you're doing, or you want maybe a more senior role, or you want to change function within the same company. When you look at what LinkedIn is doing today with all their online courses that today acquired in that. This is already the present, and this is what we want. We want to leverage those resources and to provide people with much more options when it comes to career slash education slash career progression.
Okay, so I'll proceed with the 20 questions. That's great. Thank you. So first question is, what's your weirdest word? Like, what's the weirdest thing about you?
The weirdest thing about me, I would say, is my French accent when I speak English.
What's not?
No, the weirdest thing would be then that I have my family has a long history and a lot of origins. So I have a lot of bloods. Like I'm a true mixed blood. I'm not like the pure French that some people would like to be. So from my dad's side, I'm actually Chinese and Austrian. Yes, I mean, so my great grandfather was Chinese in Vietnam. So when the communists came in power, my grandmother flew and landed into France, which made sense because it used to be our colony over there, right? And from my mom's side, it's more like Eastern European and Jewish. So the weirdest thing is this: it's like I'm a bit of Chinese when I tell people this, like it's a bit weird, because you don't look Chinese. But that would be something weird about me. Well, if the other thing is like I can't live without coffee, that's it. It's like and smoke.
Coffee is life. So dogs or cats?
Oh, definitely. Oh, it's hard because I love really both. I think I would say both because I enjoy having a dog because they're more affectionate, and at the same time I enjoy the peace of mind of having a cat. And I think cats somehow sometimes maybe reflects who I can be with some people, in the sense that I'm very detached. But if I really had to choose, I would go with dog.
Evening in or night out? Evening in or night out? Which do you prefer?
Well, like the younger me definitely would prefer like night outs, but I've retired a few years ago. I was getting too old. Definitely evening in. Plus, when you're extremely busy, it's like a better choice.
You still look so young.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not. It's very nice of you to say this, but I don't look that young anymore. I know that. I'm not too old yet, but I'm definitely not. I'm not the typical person you would assume like the startup has. I'm not like this 20 years old kid with like full of enthusiasm. I come more from like the corporate world, having figured out there was a need in the markets and filling it. But no, I'm pretty old now. Look at my wrinkles.
Okay. So favorite movie genre?
Favorites?
Movie genre.
As a French, I should say. As a French, I should say that I enjoy like art and like very like snobbish movie, which I really do enjoy on a time-to-time basis. Now, when you're home and you just want to relax, I basically take anything like comedy as could be. I think that's what I watch the most. Like comedy, yes, I would say.
Okay. So what is your spirit animal?
Fox. I actually have it tattooed here. Yes, I'm a fox.
Fox. Why fox?
Because I think fox are extremely underestimated by people, and they're also like misjudged somehow. So like fox, I mean, I know in Asia it's slightly different, especially in China. But if you look at like fox mythology from where I'm from, in Europe, fox were a very bad animal. Like you were scared of foxes because they were eating your chicken and rabbits and whatsoever. And I think they've been like hunted quite a lot. And what I like with fox is, to me it's a very smart animal. Again, animal intelligence, another debate, but like within the animal world, I would definitely put fox, close to the top. And I like the idea that they don't care if they liked or not. And I love to be liked by people, but it's not something I'm going to seek after. So pretty much the message, like, take me as I am. If you don't like me, it's fine. If you like me, then it's better. But it's not something I'm going to try to do, like to please you.
So what's your perfect pizza?
My perfect?
Pizza. Sorry.
Pizza.
Perfect pizza.
Well, I come from Europe, so Italy is next door, and we love Italian food, even though I would say French food is still the best. I have to say this, right? If not, my friends are not going to be happy. But I'm very simple. So that would be the margarita. A margarita, like a classic margarita, but with fresh basil and a lot of mozzarella, and that's makes me happy. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you were born in a new life, would you rather be alive in the past or future?
Well, it depends when in the past, I'm very happy not to have born during the Middle Age, for example, or at time I would have been persecuted, and I don't miss the torture and like dying at 35 years old or toothache without having a dentist. So if I had to pick, and you tell me we don't know when in the past and when in the future, I will definitely take my chance in the future. I'm more like someone who takes risk, obviously. So I know the past, but the past is not very glamorous to me.
Yeah, okay. So, can you name 3 things in your to-do list, life's to-do list?
Yes, so number one is what we're doing today is really like to improve education and how we access education. And I know it might sound a bit cliche because that's my company, but that's really one of the drive, the reason why I'm still doing this when, I could be hired by any business school today in the world. It's really because I think it's important to achieve it. Second, I think it's, maybe a lot of people say it, but I really mean it's to be happy. So for me, being happy is to still have time to spend with my family. So even though, yes, obviously you are extremely busy, I try to keep my Sundays, at least the afternoon to spend with my family. And the third is, I keep what I'm doing. I mean, I don't really have like to-do list, but just keep doing what makes me happy. And people that surrounds me and I care about, keep them happy as well.
What's your greatest fear?
Well, it's not death because I know I will die anyway, and I know I will most likely die younger than some people because I'm a smoker and I haven't had a very healthy lifestyle so far. It's the pain, and the pain for me is mainly mental. So it's if I could choose, I mean not dying tomorrow obviously, but between you might die a bit younger, it's going to be sudden. Or you might die a few years after, but you're going to know it and you're going to go through this process. I would definitely go with option 1. So it's like the pain, both physical and mental, that I think I would say is my biggest fear.
Would you rather be poor and work at a job you love, or be rich and work at a job you hate?
Well, that's a bit of a tricky question because if you're rich, then you don't need to work anymore. But yes, I would definitely prefer it. And I've done it several times in my career to take jobs that maybe pay less a bit, but that I'm more comfortable with. Because I made a mistake very early in my career to switch job from a company I was, very well treated, and it was a smaller company, to move to a bigger one with a better pay, better package and everything. And it turns out it wasn't that great for me. So no, definitely like a job you like is more important. But money is also something you can't not take into account.
Okay, so which one is the final answer?
Well, as I have told you, the question can be twisted. If I get rich, I don't work in the work I don't like, so I'll take rich.
The rich. Okay. So, why did you choose your profession?
It's really random. So my parents wanted me to work for Deforge affairs back in France. That's why I went to China to learn Chinese, obviously. And as I said, I arrived in China, very different vibe than back in Paris, dynamic. And I would say maybe like my generation when we arrived in China, maybe we felt something like, when people moved to like the West Coast during the gold rush. Except that it wasn't gold, it was more like something that we were coming from the past, because Europe is the past, obviously. And we arrived in the present, where everything was moving fast. So then, because in France, the studies you do really determine what you're going to achieve, I knew it was going to be hard for me to find a job with French company. So I'd say, to target a lot of companies where I think I could do things. And I knew that I was a good sales because I've always enjoyed talking, obviously, and, people also enjoy talking with me. So sales was the obvious choice. And then I navigated within industries. And I think my motto is, grab any opportunities. and take the jump if you think it's going to be good, even if you know nothing about it. I mean, education, when I decided to join HERD, I knew strictly nothing about education, I mean business education. And I was fortunate to have like a very fantastic colleague like Yoshi Mitsue, who basically taught me a lot about distribution. And then of course I took off on my own. But that's the reason why I'm here today in the Philippines as well. It's all because one day I decided to leave Korea, where I was quite comfortable in terms of lifestyle, from the event industry to move to go back to the corporate world in business education, which I knew nothing about.
So last three questions. Name three things that you would take with you on a deserted island.
Well, my wife, obviously. My kid, that's two.
That's two.
And I guess if you're on an island, you need to maybe hunt, or maybe you need to fish at least. So something to hunt, I guess. Even though I'm not a hunter.
Okay, it's like a Swiss knife.
Well, maybe a bit bigger, maybe more things that can kill something from far, because I'm not very courageous when it comes to wildlife. Well, a lighter will be important, so I will take a lighter because you need fire.
Okay. So, in what ways are you the same as your childhood self?
Well, I'm still very childish, so obviously that's something I share with my younger myself. And I think it's the creativity. I mean, I'm not creative in the sense I don't know how to draw. I'm a very bad drawer, but I always wanted to create things. So I remember with Lego, I was doing things different than my parents. But I read a lot. I still read a lot. So I think there is a lot similar to what I was when I was a kid. The main difference is, and that's maybe not too good, but I gained a lot of confidence compared to my younger myself, which sometimes could make me cocky to some people, even though it's more something to protect myself. So that's the main difference. But I share a lot with my younger self, especially being childish. That's why I enjoy spending time with my kid. We play, it's remind me of my childhood.
This is very clear than a bed. Okay, so for the last one, I know you said it before, but can you just tell our viewers what is your advice or life motto to them?
Well, I'm a big believer of having options. So when I say grab opportunities, it doesn't necessarily mean take a new job every 6 months, but definitely listen and take risk sometimes. I mean, I have a strong belief that life is on a two-axis curve, and most of people think they are very happy, but they don't take a lot of risk. And I know that might sound a bit weird, but to me this is something that I would call the illusion of being happy. And this is maybe 90% of the population. Now if you increase your risk level, obviously you're going to expose yourself to more happiness, a higher level of happiness, but unfortunately also a much deeper level of despair. And that's my advice, is that take those risks. Yes, it might be painful. But if you really want to achieve greater things, and I'm not talking about business here solely, because I'm not a big fan of business. I'm talking about your personal life as well. It's increase your risk level, expose yourself to slightly more risk, and you don't need to go from A to Z. You can go from A to B at first, but you will start to become much happier by taking more risk.
Thank you very much.
You're much welcome. Thank you so much.